Hey guys, hope you all have been well. Welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'm going to do something where I just sit down and talk makeup and not necessarily do makeup. But on today's video, I'm going to be grading brand aesthetics more so with packaging. I'm just going to do a couple brands, see how the video idea works out, and if it does work out, then I'll just be doing more videos in the future. With that said, let's get to some grading. By the way, I'm going to use the old system of like A+, A-, because now it's 1, 2, 3, 4. We teachers had a lot to say when that started. The first brand on the list is Benefit Cosmetics. The grade that I'm going to give Benefit is a C, possibly a C-, and it's because the aesthetics it's just not me. It's a very youthful, very fun, young, hip, bubbly personality type of brand. Like when I think of Benefit, I think of someone like Remy Ashton, and that is not me. First of all, I'm not young. I'm young at heart, but physically, I am not young. And I do consider myself like fun, but I'm also dark. And I don't get that vibe from Benefit. But in addition to that, there's some packaging issues that I have with, let's say, some of their box blushes or highlighters. There's so much unnecessary space. I mean, if you condense it to just a small cardboard packaging, I don't think the price would kind of justify it. So who knows, maybe Benefit is just doing that to be like, ooh, let's just add some extra cardboard, add in a sprinkle of air, and we can make it this price. But I just think that it's too bulky for what it is. And so I think a combination of the fact that it's not my aesthetic, and there's just some issues that I have with choice of how they package quite a bit of their products, I'm gonna give it I think a C, maybe a C, because I don't hate the packaging. They're cute, but they're just not my preference. Second brand is MAC. I should have started with this one because people are probably gonna be like, what did she grade MAC? She has so many MAC videos. What did she give it? I'm gonna give MAC a B+, and it has to do in large part to the fact that I've dabbled into other brands. I've tried luxury products, and so there is a bit of a difference in terms of the quality now that I've tried a wider range of different brands. However, with MAC, I think there's a lot of consistency. First of all, it's black, it's sleek, and most importantly, it's uniform across the board. So their lipsticks, their foundations, their powders, their blushes, they have a uniform look. Black, sleek, clear. And that aesthetic is everything that I love. I love just clean, sleek, black packaging. And an add-on benefit to that is the only real differentiated packaging you get is with their limited edition collections. However, they still maintain the same size. For example, if they do eyeshadows, most of the time they'll just come out with a quad, and the quad is the same size as the pro palettes that you can just pick up. Same thing with the lipsticks. The bullet might have more artwork on it, but in terms of the shape, everything is the same. So there's consistency and uniformity with their products so that when you store them together, you're not mixing different sizes up. You know what the MAC products are, and I really appreciate that. Now, in terms of the actual component, the packaging, I'm looking at my blushes right now, they're mostly made of plastic. And now that I'm introduced to and have a bit more heftier packaging like Pat McGrath, it does lack a little bit in that like extra oomph, but I will say that MAC packaging has lasted me years. I have MAC blushes that I'm going to be 100% transparent about are at least a decade old, and the packaging is still holding strong. Sometimes you get this bit come loose, but I find that was usually with the MSFs, but my MAC packaging is still doing really well and thriving. So B+, B+. Next up, we have Nars. Nars, I'm going to give a solid B. I think it depends on the moment because sometimes Nars upsets me and it'll go like to B-. There's a little bit of a difference when it comes to this whole aesthetic idea with Nars and with MAC. I feel when it comes to the actual product, the actual makeup items, Nars is a step up from MAC. I feel like you have MAC as sort of this higher end, and then you have things like Pat McGrath that are luxury, and then you have something like Nars, which is like high luxe, you know, a combination of the two. It's somewhere in between. And I feel like the makeup justifies that. It's really good quality stuff. But with the packaging, it's really hit or miss depending on how long you have it and how well you take care of it. So Nars packaging, aesthetics wise, beautiful, sleek, black, and for the most part very uniform. I think with their collections of like face palettes, they'll vary in sizes. They're not quite as uniform as I would say MAC is, but if we're talking the collection as a whole, they have a certain look to them. So you have the logo, sleek, black, matte, rubberized packaging. That is their downfall. It is beautiful to look at, but it is very hard to maintain. The moment you touch a powder or your eyeshadow, even a touch of your concealer, and then touch the packaging of Nars, you get finger stains. But beyond that, if you keep Nars for a long period of time, it starts to get sticky. There's this tackiness to it, and there's no way you can get rid of it. You might have to sit there for a couple hours and wipe alcohol on each of them, but eventually they start to get sticky again. And this is what led me to depotting a lot of my Nars stuff, because I had so many of the packaging get really sticky and tacky that they would kind of like stick to each other, and it was disgusting. Also, after a while, with their compacts, there, you know, the little hinge where the metal is to open and close it, there's a time frame to this. Eventually they're going to break. And I'm not talking like you open it really hard and then it just breaks off. The strength and the hold that it has eventually just deteriorates, and it becomes so brittle that the little plastic pieces start to break off and the top will completely just unhinge itself. This was the case with my Laguna bronzer, and I had some eyeshadows and some blushes that this happened to. So it's not just one type of packaging. So this type of packaging here, I mean, you can already see the dirty print that I have on this in one of my newer blushes. But you see this, the hinge here on the corners, they start to become brittle, and eventually these things will break off. I think I should give it a B-, honestly, because those two things are gonna be pretty nerve-wracking if you're spending so much money on it. But it's not quite a C, because aesthetically, like, chef's kiss, it's beautiful. I might even prefer just the look of Nars compared to MAC, but I would much rather use my MAC stuff because they have lasted me so long. So yeah, let's do Nars B-. I'm sorry, I love you, I love your makeup, but just that packaging, man. If you plan on keeping it, which you should, because it's like, you know, an arm and a leg, it should withstand, you know? Okay, let's move on to Too Faced. Too Faced I feel is kind of like Benefit, but Benefit does cardboard and Too Faced does metal packaging. And so their grade will be kind of similar. What did I give Benefit? A C? They do a lot of cute stuff. Sometimes they'll do a play on words, try to be a little edgy, but it's still fun. It's still vibrant. And it still caters, to my opinion, to a younger audience. I'm not saying that you can't buy makeup from Too Faced if you're older, but in terms of packaging, the aesthetics kind of cater to a much younger audience. But do I give Too Faced a 1-up from Benefit? Because you don't get a lot of brands that do metal packaging. You know, and I can't say that I know too much beyond their eyeshadows. No, they did highlighters and tin packaging as well, right? You don't see that a lot. It's either plastic, weighted plastic, or cardboard. Sometimes I feel like their packaging can be a bit too busy, much like the Balm. I think I'm gonna give Too Faced a little bit of an up because the actual material for their packaging is a little bit better than Benefit, but I honestly really like cardboard packaging. It's just so easy to care for. It's so light and easy to store. But yeah, let's just talk about it as a whole. It's gonna be a little bit more than Benefit. So if Benefit was a C-, I give Too Faced a C. If Benefit was a C, then I give Too Faced a C+. Charlotte Tilbury. This is a very interesting brand because I was trying to formulate, like, how do I describe Charlotte Tilbury to me? Like, how do I see Charlotte Tilbury? And we all know, like, the grandma brands, you know, Estee Lauder, Lancome, Estee Lauder, the brands that more mature people tend to gravitate towards. Not saying that they don't buy from anyone else, but those brands usually, that's their demographics, right? I feel like Charlotte Tilbury is the cool, rich grandmother. Now, I'm not talking about the actual makeup because her makeup is very on trend. She has a lot of products that are just, I mean, they're getting wiped off the shelves and online. So the actual product is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the visual of the brand. It definitely has more of this classy, upscale, cool grandma vibe. Let's take this highlighter, for example. I would think Estee Lauder will come out with something like this, even something like this. But what changes it into more of this modernized, on-trend thing is the actual product inside. But aesthetically, in terms of what they do and how they market with these things, it does have a bit more of a mature and older feel to it. I love that Charlotte Tilbury does rose gold. I'm traditionally a black, sleek packaging kind of person, but the way that she's marketed and presented her brand aesthetics, I'm really into it because it does give more of that luxury, high-end feel. So with that said, Charlotte Tilbury is going to get a B. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B, a solid B. That's not a bad thing. A B is 90%, okay? But I will not be afraid to admit that sometimes the quality of the packaging doesn't match the price point. Maybe you're paying for the quality of the product. Yeah, they're made in Italy. So I noticed that Italy tends to be a little bit more expensive, but also the quality is a bit more like up there. We're talking about packaging. So packaging, solid B. The last brand for today's video is Pat McGrath, and I'm going to give Pat McGrath an A, maybe even an A minus. What? Annabelle, her packaging is like superb, supreme. Just hear me out. I love Pat McGrath packaging. However, let me grab my box here. I personally would tweak how this is all set up. So I would do a box, just a regular cardboard insert. What I would do is take this print that you see on the box, this one here, and I would place it on the back of the packaging. So all the mothership palettes will have this front side all uniform and sleek and beautiful, but you can tell what the palette is by turning it around, and then you see like that. Like, look at the back of the packaging. It's so bland. Why don't you just put this on the back? And that way the cardboard has a bit more of like permanency, is that a word? Because the artwork is plastered into the actual packaging, whereas this, I don't know if you can tell, but this happened in transit, and then having to do this every single time with this piece of thread, it's so annoying. I would also place the names of the eyeshadows into the palette. I'm guessing she did this because she knows people are gonna keep the box, but I would much rather you just, stamp it on the actual palette. Now, her lipsticks, I have. Her lip glosses, I don't have any of her base stuff. I do have her blushes coming in the mail. And much like MAC, everything is uniform. I think even more so than MAC is, because with their limited edition stuff, they're very rare to have like a special packaging, because that special quality comes with the outside packaging. So the box will be unique, but the actual component is the same. So uniformity, again with me, sleek, black, weighted, love it. I just wish there was a better way to preserve the artwork other than just keeping the box, because this thing is gonna eventually give out, okay? But I think Pat McGrath, in terms of just pure visual aesthetic as a brand, it's so good. I love her logo. There's a bit of edginess, but like royalty about it. It's so good. I love it. And I'm not even talking about the makeup, because that's A+ stuff. But brand aesthetic, packaging, maybe A-. I would say A, as a general, and then A- for me, because I would really like to see that mothership change in that packaging. Have it nicely printed on the back of that gorgeous weighted packaging, and so we can throw away that big old box. I just solved the world's biggest problem. Okay guys, that concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed it with me. Would you give these brands the same grade that I did? Higher? Lower? Do you like the video concept? Should I do another one? Ooh, I didn't even include Anastasia or ColourPop. Yeah, I might need to do another video. Anyways, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the video. Leave your ratings down below if you'd like to partake. And this makeup look right here, I decided to bust out my Celestial Divinity palette, and I got inspired to do color. I love the way this turned out. I love this palette. This is such a good palette. But yes, I will be posting this makeup look on Instagram, so be sure to check me out. The link will be the first one in the description box down below. There I post a photo of all my makeup looks along with all the products in the caption. Till the next video, I hope you all are doing well, taking great care of yourselves. I will see you all next time. Bye guys.